going on, people? It is Saturday night and next podcast is live. Yo, guys, huge shout out to the chat. Thank you guys for coming in early and checking out the show. Huge shout out to Shin Beam, who was the first person in the chat. I saw that name. That's what I'm going to start doing now. I'm going to start shouting out the first person. And I'm sorry, Sleepy. I know our brother Sleepy Goblin. He's usually the first. And I think I might have shouted him out once or twice. But yeah, that's what we're going to start doing now. Yo, whoever the first person to chime in on the chat when we're getting ready, you are getting a shout out. But guys, I am really excited for tonight's show. We have so many things to talk about. I mean, we're going to go in about, of course, Bungie and Activision. That is kind of like the flavor of the week. But not only that, we're going to be talking about Amazon. We're going to be talking about what I call the battle for February 15th. Because there is quite a few games coming out on that date. And I want to see what the panel has to say about that and what they might get on that. Plus a bunch of other things as well. So we have to get into the intros. And I am going to start off with the man that I didn't even know if he was going to be on the show tonight. It was awesome to hear him in the hangout when we were getting ready. Of course, he is taking a break from saving the world all those thousands of times. Guys, please welcome Dark Knoxximus! Okay, Dark.
What's up, people?
All right.
I'm back.
He's like, what's up, people?
Huh? I mean, I don't know what to say anymore, man. You know, I haven't done this in a while. You know,
are you feeling nervous though? Like, I was really nervous.
No, not at all, dude.
Last week's show,
I'm good.
man. Last week's show with the change in like the format and everything like that. I gotta say, I felt like it was the first time I was hosting a show on my channel. So I can see if you haven't been around for a while, if you got some of those butterflies, but those will iron out real quick, man.
Yeah, man, I'll get back into the groove.
All you have to do is start making fun of K Mega, and then you'll be all set. You'll be right back.
Dude, I do that on a daily basis, so I mean, it's kind of like it kind of gets redundant, you know.
Invisible Optimus. What do you mean, Invisible Optimus? Okay.
Who said that?
Snaps did. Yo. Oh. Huge shout out to my brother Yobi in the chat. What is up? And of course, we got Snap. It's Mel. Checking out the show live from work. I don't know. Good thing your supervisor doesn't watch this show. That's all I gotta say. But yo, guys, next on the list, I am proud to introduce this man. Part of the Next Podcast family. He wasn't able to make the show last week, so I get to unveil kind of like his whole scene for his gameplay this week. My brother Predator.
Yo, what's up, everybody? Had a little break for the holidays. Glad to be back on the show. Go Cowboys.
Oh, wow. Yeah, guys, he will be a little distracted tonight because the Cowboys, unfortunately, I think are not going to have a good time in their playoff game tonight. I already told Pred I don't think they're going to make it, dude. I will apologize now for your loss, Predator. I know it's going to hurt, but we're here for you, though. I'm just saying.
Oh, shit.
All right,
who's your team again? The Giants? Yeah, never mind.
Oh, no.
Oh, that's a low blow, man.
That was messy. That was messy right there. Yo, speaking of messy, I'm going to introduce my brother, the guy who made it famous within the community to actually say something is messy. Yes, he is coming live from the 405. K Mega!
You know, I got a lot of trending little phrases that's
man.
Been
Swimming
through
Hades,
the little
man.
gaming universe. So, hey, like I said, I should have been putting pants on that. Always, what's going on with your indie gamer? You know what I'm saying? To my main man out there, G-Man, you know what I'm saying, 1172. Go Rams. Let's go ahead and put in that work.
Yes,
on them Cowboys. And, I think it's still going to be a kind of close game. But
Rams.
Stop it. But ananyway, speaking of being scary, man, I sit there and went today, was with the old lady, and we was going and looking at chapels.
Oh,
so, yeah,
oh no,
man. So,
dude, how are you guys gonna look at chapels when you didn't even buy her Switch yet, man?
I mean, I'm using that as collateral. just in case if that's an out package. You know what I'm saying?
Wow, brother. Oh, I hope she's sitting right
Damn.
next to you right now.
No,
man.
she's in another room. But I told her that I was gonna because she asked.
Of course, he says it when she's in the other room. He
Yeah,
doesn't.
yeah.
He's just
Yeah.
sweared if I can say it when she's in the.
Nah, anyway, no, it was pretty crazy, man. I mean, it just come to the realization of what's coming here in the future. But other than that, man, it's been a good day, man. Just catching up on a little bit of a Odyssey, Assassin's Creed, and just happy to be here as always.
You are like no-lifing Odyssey right now. You've been like no-lifing Assassin's Creed for like a month now, man.
I know.
Yeah,
Me
good
too,
luck
shit.
finishing that game this year, dude, because that game's fucking long as fuck, man.
It is. What'd you say, Fred?
I said it's almost been like 2 months. Even you played the original. You played the other Assassin's Creed Origins. No.
Yeah.
Was it Origins? Yeah.
Yeah. And I put in 113 hours in Origins, and now I'm like it close to 45, 46 on Odyssey, and I'm only at level 27 right now. So because I tend to just want to clean out everything that's going on where I go and land at or whatever, and I just want to get all that out the way. Right now, I'm on my way to go kill the dagger and see what the hell.
Like
he
right
got.
now, like while the show is going, that's what you're doing right now?
Yeah. I was just about to go do that, and then I paused, and so I'll get back onto it once we start getting the show going.
All right, that's disrespectful, but all right, man. Yo.
Hey, man, I'm sorry. These country boys can eat and chew gum too, man. You know what I'm saying? Let's go.
Are you sure? You're sure about? You said eat and chew gum?
Eat and chew gum. No, see, there you go. Just let me be country right now. Okay, good. Look, just let me do my thing.
See, that's how you know he's country, because he said the same thing. You know, it was weird, but it was like funny at the same time.
Well, guys, check this out. Check this out. I want to go from country straight into the heart of the rotten apple. Yes, it is time to introduce that man with one of the most entertaining and opinionated YouTube channels on the interwebs, my brother Knoxximus.
Yo, what's good, everybody, man? Just chilling, man.
Just chilling.
Fucking stress, fucking work got me beat, but I'm here, man.
You sound so depressed right now,
just
dude.
lie back on the couch. Let us know what's going on, man.
I'm saying,
dude,
bro.
do we have to set out the therapist couch and get a session
bro,
going?
That's it. Just one more week of this, and then shit'll be back to normal.
You know, I've been saying that for like 3 years now. Just one more week, and it's gonna go back to normal. But well, dude, I have a feeling you're definitely gonna forget about your problems for a little bit. I think we have a pass today. It is okay for us to talk about Destiny. Yo, huge shout out to Oh Snap It's Mel hitting up that super chat. Happy birthday to the moderator of the years. I think Oh Snaps made that a thing. Moderator of the years. Dasky, what is up, man? Happy birthday. I hope your 24th birthday is magic, by the way.
More like 44th birthday.
No, 24. Dude, 24, okay?
My bad.
All right.
My bad.
Yo. And this man doesn't get shouted out enough, man. I definitely want to shout him out. Yo, my brother, Indie Gamer. This dude supports every single show out there in the community. It is good to see you in there, man. I always look for your name, whether I'm on Crossfire or I drop in on GRG or, on Xbox Nation. And, dude, you are always there. Yo, huge shout out to Indie Gamer for supporting the community, man. On that note, guys, there is something I want to say. As you can see, I did win the gameplay last week. So, I'm working on the graphics for kind of like the winning gameplay or whatnot. I think it's coming along really well. What I'm doing now is when you win the gameplay, your gameplay fills up most of the screen for that next week. All right, so everybody really gets a chance to go in and check out the gameplay. Of course, I got like gold like sparks and stuff flying around the edges and stuff like that. But there is a first on this show. Yes, I won last week, but I put together gameplay and I didn't want it to just sit there. So guys, I am going to be in the running again this week. So I have more gameplay.
That's cheating.
On the end. And yes, I will let you know. My gameplay is one character, but 3 different games.
So we got to watch your gameplay from last week and then watch your gameplay.
Yeah, you do.
Man.
Yeah, you do. You
That's
guys,
like that, huh?
you
mean,
guys could have done that, with winning the gameplay. You didn't have to take that week off, man.
He
taking up
doesn't
more time.
specify that. He never specified that when you guys made this.
Well,
shit
guys,
up.
let's get
He
into
never
the
said that
topics.
shit.
So let me explain something, okay? So technically, by default, I should win. Because I'm the
Well,
only person that put in gameplay this week.
no, I did.
Oh,
I did.
No, but you won last
Damn.
week, so you
I
should
did.
be omitted from
Well,
voting.
well, guys,
for
check this
week.
out. I had to work today, so
No. You're making excuses right now.
Well, I will say, for a couple people on the panel, I did go into the archives and I pulled some of their best gameplay out and put it into the show tonight. Like I said, I feel like the show is going to be a crazy show, so we had to get the best gameplay going. And I think everybody, the people who are out there that not only listen to the show but actually watch it, I think you guys are in for a treat. But on that note, let's get into the topics. And I want to start with something that I don't even have in the topics list, because right before we went live, I started seeing the DMs start to go nuts. It was something about Verizon and gaming and stuff like that. Now, Predator, you posted that in the DM, and then K Mega came back like he went in and he read the whole thing. So I want you guys to kind of take over. Pred, what's going on here with Verizon in terms of gaming? Something new, man? What's the deal?
So basically, they've been testing out a streaming service through Verizon, and on the website that they showed, or the image they showed, had some PlayStation exclusives on there. Like God of War was the one that stuck out to me.
What?
They had Anthem on there. They had a couple other games on there that were they're fairly new games, Red Dead and stuff like that. So that leads us, as a consumer, to believe when you see that those games are going to be available through their streaming service whenever it decides to come about. So I think the biggest thing is the streaming part of it, but the second part of that is PlayStation exclusives being on there. And I think that's gonna kind of cause a stink with some people, because those games aren't even on PS Now, and if they're coming out on the Verizon platform, that's gonna kind of make some people scratch their head. So
Damn,
that's it.
I hate to say I told you so when it comes to streaming services, but I feel like from a week-to-week basis, ever since like 2019 started, it seems like streaming services when it comes to gaming is in the fast lane of the highway right now. And you got different companies trying to kind of like dip their hands in there or whatnot. Now, K Mega, you started chiming in, so I think you went in and you were checking out exactly what this article was. Of course, I was over here trying to get everything straight for the show tonight, but put in your opinions. What's going on in your opinion, and what do you think about this whole thing, man?
No, I find it hilarious because I really want to see the energy from Metacritic after that article that they just posted just this week in regards to Xbox. And now we're looking and we're seeing what's really going on with Verizon, and it seems like that a lot of people thought that PlayStation had enough oomph and power to keep their games exclusive just to their console. And I would encourage everybody, I'm saying this is a shameless plug, but I should encourage everybody to listen to GRG because last night it's so ironic because we were talking about this. So Shady was on the show and Avers was on the show, and everybody was talking about this same thing. And So Shady was making the point that this is going to happen. I mean, everybody kind of agreed with the situation. I think we knew overall, even on this panel, that we knew that this is the future of where gaming is going. And it would be just asinine for Sony to not want to put their hat in this ring, because there's so many other people that may not want to buy a console, but rather want to play their games on something else. So why not put their games on there? So the one thing to me is where I'm going to be messy about is this energy about what's an exclusive and what is not. They have to, because it wasn't only just God of War, it was Detroit on there as well on that list.
Detroit is a great movie, by the way.
Detroit is a great game. Shut your mouth, Mike. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing of it to me is where it's just ironic, because it's like, if PlayStation wasn't on board and Verizon put PlayStation games that are not going to be on there, then there would be a problem, and PlayStation would already debunk that. But as we can see, as though they're getting into that, PlayStation is, well, I should say Sony is investing into cloud. That it's only imminent, because we see that I think Xbox just proved to everybody that Game Pass is, these gaming services is the future, because there's just so many people, there's a lot of money that's to be made with this, and you just want to spread the pie. So I mean, look, I think it's good for gamers all over. I mean, this whole exclusive talk, it's just going to come down to the end of the day of what platform or console, whatever that you want to play.
The only way Sony games are going to be on there is if Sony is somehow partnering up with Verizon or something to that effect.
You read my mind, Knox.
Absolutely no way that if Verizon is doing that standalone, that Sony's going to put that. They're going to have, hell no way.
It doesn't matter if
they'll put out their own PS Now. They'll do their own thing and put their games on it. I'm not matter
to the fanboy that's making the point about you don't have an exclusive because it's going on something else. That even makes the whole argument even more laughable, because they're partnering with them, and that just debunks all of those fanboys' rhetoric about exclusives.
You're right on that front. I agree with you that absolutely Sony is going to explore that avenue. They're not going to be the ones left out, out in the cold. No, they're gonna put their games, but it's gonna be through PlayStation Now. It's gonna be through something with Sony's name on it, with the PlayStation name on it. Whether that comes, it's gonna come to PC. It's gonna go to iPhone and Android and all that.
Well,
the only place it ain't gonna go is Xbox.
Knox, check this out. Like I like where you're going with this, but I gotta ask you, when it comes down to it, like these Sony games, I'm with you. I feel like Sony doesn't like to share. They would just put it on PS Now. What would Verizon have to offer them in terms of a partnership or something like that? Do you know offhand, does Verizon have their own like set of servers, or is there something like that they can offer?
5G?
Yeah, the 5G.
Oh,
the
shit.
5G and maybe try to bring their phone market back to life, do like an exclusive, cell phone deal, Sony phones. Because what were them Sony phones that they were not
Sony
bad,
Ericssons?
Whatever.
I don't know if Sony phones would come back, but I would think that it would be a good partnership that maybe they could help with their phones. Yeah.
I have one actually. I just bought one. It's a fucking amazing phone. So don't get caught up in the whole the phones we come out with now. Like you only got to get an iPhone or a Galaxy.
That's
off the chain.
That's what I'm saying. They could very well do some deal like that. Like that's the only way I could see that happening. But that Sony's going to eventually put their stuff out there for people to consume. Yeah, they're going to do it. I agree with that. But if they're not partnered with Verizon, you ain't going to see those on no standalone Verizon gaming streaming platform. You're just not. Unless Sony's involved somehow. Well, I would be hard pressed to see that shit come to fruition if Sony's not involved with them.
I got you. Well, yo, Dark, man, like I think you came in at a really good episode. Like we're starting talking about Verizon here in terms of a game streaming service, kind of like Game Pass, and you already heard games like God of War, Detroit, Sony exclusives were in this advertisement. And what do you think about this, man? Do you think this is some type of deal between Sony and Verizon? And if that's the case, Sony needs to get something out of the deal. What would you think it would be, man?
I don't think it's a deal. I think they're just placeholders. I think they just they're just
kind of
testing it out right now.
Can they do that?
I mean, they can test it out. I mean, they can test it out with different games. I mean, they just can't advertise that it's going to be in that service that they're trying to portray or whatever. They can't be like, oh well, this is what you're going to get, and here you're going to get Detroit Become Human, you're going to get God of War. They can't just say that. I think those are just placeholders.
That would be false advertising, a lot of times, even if they are like placeholders, though. Man.
Not necessarily, because of the fact that just because they were in the picture, you got to remember that picture is a leak. So I mean, it is something that that they. But you never know. I mean, it could be a a deal that's going on with them, or something like that. I mean, if anything, if anybody's getting anything out of it, I think Verizon's getting the most out of it. I don't know. I can't really see what Sony would be getting out of this
I know
deal
what
if they actually
they would get. They would get.
real
Okay,
deal.
right now I'm looking at the Verizon user base. In 2014, it was 150 million users. That's the benefit, and that's 2014. This is 4 years later.
Yeah.
I'm
So what
sure
you're
it's
saying
well
is
over
that
200 million.
people would be using this service. There would be more people using this service than say something like PlayStation Now. Then is that what you're trying to say?
Absolutely. I mean, there's not even
Okay.
there's only 91 million.
I mean, I could see that.
Consoles out, and you gotta look at the percentage of how many users are using PlayStation Now, and then when you have over, I would say it's well over 200 million users for Verizon to have that base. I mean, just if you can even if you can get 25 to 50 million users to use it, that's a win for Sony. So
Yeah,
that's what they get out of it.
I could see that. I also, I don't know. I mean, it looks like what Sony is doing is maybe integrating PlayStation Now with Verizon gaming. Maybe they're just maybe they're kind of maybe feeding off of each other. Maybe what they'll do is they'll have like a little like offset or something. Maybe I
App
don't know,
on the Verizon phone.
yeah, on a Verizon phone. Like, I don't know. It's interesting to see it because I mean, yeah, it is because those pictures are very like oh wow, this is gonna get
This
Detroit
is kind of
become
mind
human.
blowing right now, man.
Yeah, it really is because it's like what's really gonna happen. I mean, it's definitely time will tell to see what we're gonna get with this streaming service. But I think in the long run, if Verizon plays their cards right and Sony does get with Verizon, this could be huge. This
All
could
right,
be a
check
big
this
thing
out.
but
for
but
them.
look, and not
Oh.
and also that alpha's running on the NVIDIA Shield, right? So far, and according to the article, they're planning on putting that on Android, on iOS too. So yeah, bro,
That's crazy. Yeah,
It's gonna be huge.
I want to give a
Could
shout
be,
out to
potentially.
Christopher Hart in the chat. Christopher Hart, it is good to see you back here, man. Obviously, there was something you liked from checking in on the show for your first time last week. Now, Christopher is a Sony guy. I met him at GRG, in the chat at GRG. K-Mega, you want to say what's up?
What's up, Chris?
Now, Chris, I got to ask you, man, what is up with possibly having Sony games through Verizon streaming on different devices? Do you still consider them Sony exclusives, or were you in that group of gamers out there that was claiming Microsoft doesn't have exclusives because games are on PC and they're over here, or they're trying to stream on multiple devices, so they're definitely not exclusives? I want to see in the chat. Let me know if you were in that camp, man. But to me, this is interesting. I know Sony. I don't see them. They don't give up something for nothing. All right. They keep everything kind of like close to their chest, and when you see another company, and I know this is a leak, but when you see another company possibly touting like PlayStation exclusives and stuff like that, you have to ask yourself, what's the deal there? What is Sony getting from this? Because Sony wouldn't do something like this without gaining. And I know, Mega, you're basically saying like user base when it comes to the streaming service.
It's an extra user base. That's the win right there. I mean, we all know that consoles only go so far. It won't. Consoles will never reach as many gamers as PC does or mobile phones. So the best option is to go with this with streaming. And if Sony doesn't have their streaming, as we've been seeing with what they did with PlayStation Now, and it's really not up to par, then why not partner up with somebody that's already going to be presenting 5G, that's already got the tech ready to go, and
They
then
are
have
up there on the 5G thing. I've been looking into that. So.
And Verizon's out here saying that they're going to have stuff that's going to be better than Google and Microsoft. So they're already in the game talking like, look, we they're really talking trash. I love this because like we were talking about last night on GRG, is that like the gaming market is so healthy, and now other than what it was in the 90s, there's a lot of financial backing going on. Like there's big boys out there that's got the financial backing that can sustain things even if things go awry at first. And also this is actually making me think that if Sony might be going this route with Verizon, with getting a partnership with Verizon or whatever, then they may not be having backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 5. There could be a strong possibility that they might.
I wouldn't go that far, dude. I can almost guarantee.
Or Ford's capability. You know what I'm saying?
See, Ford's compatibility is something to think about now. You know, especially I know Xbox has been touting the whole Ford's compatibility thing, but then they're talking about a successor to the S and a successor to the X, and people are starting to like kind of step back a little bit, and it's like, well, you were talking Ford's compatibility. I think Xbox is still going to do it. I think when it came to Sony, it was always up in the air.
Pretty much said, Microsoft said that from before we even got the X or even the S, is that like they already gave the strategy that everything. That's when we started making videos that's talking about like Xbox is becoming like a PC, a true PC. That's exactly what their vision was like basically making Xbox interconnected with Windows and all of that. That's been the whole plan for what Microsoft has been doing. I mean, it goes back to what my boy Old School, he gave me a post in the DMs, and he was like, remember when they posted this? And I think my boy Thomas Frank showed me that too, where they had that sign when they showed the original Xbox Fat where it said beta tested. You know what I'm saying? This, and that's kind of like what I guess the Xbox One has been this whole generation. It's been a lot of ups and downs for sure, but this has been beta tested to really set off for what is here to come for Xbox.
I don't think that was
now.
the first intention of Xbox One, but when everything, when the shit hit the fan in 2013.
They would have to put years into investment in this bot, so it had to take. I think it was. I think that they had a good intention on trying to have a different direction, and then when before the Xbox was released. Then when the Xbox One was released, they scrapped all that and started with this whole new aspect. I think, the DirectX 12 and all that was still going to be implemented, but I think they did their strategy, and instead of them delaying the Xbox, like a lot of people think that they should have, they just went ahead and just said, fuck it, let's go with it, and let's just keep just doing the things in the process to get to the point to where we need to be.
And I'm glad you brought up DirectX 12, because I've heard other YouTubers out there with live shows and everything like almost apologize to people about DX12. I want to let people know DX12 is pretty much the standard API that all these games are being built on now. It's either DX12 or it's Vulkan. So at the end of the day, Microsoft announcing DirectX 12 to the world and getting that out to the developers was a monumental event in the game development industry. So it was something that was absolutely huge. I don't think it's something that anybody out there should almost have to either downplay or possibly apologize for, because one of the reasons why you're seeing games as great as they are right now is because of quality APIs like DirectX 12 and Vulkan. So, I don't know. But with that being said, this is really interesting. Mega, imagine if there were a couple YouTubers out there that were trying to let people know that streaming services were going to be a thing, that's where these companies wanted to move to, like, I don't know, maybe over a year ago. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, man. I wish there were some YouTubers that were saying that. I don't know, man. I wish we were the ones, but you know what? It is what it is.
And if you want to know if we were the ones, you go to our channels and you go back in time and check out videos that we have made on the subject in the past, and you'll see exactly where we were coming from.
And read those comments too when you go back to those videos.
Yo, for real, dude, your comments are a little more messy than mine, though.
Oh yeah, they're much more colorful, but yeah, nevertheless,
I like that, colorful. Well, guys, it's going to be interesting to see what other companies get into this. We do have another kind of like streaming service that we're going to talk about, but we're going to put that for a little further into the show. I want to hear what you guys think about a certain date called February 15th. Now, when I put this out here, I highlighted 5 games that were slated to go and drop on February 15th. Now, one of them, thanks to my brother Dark, he let me know that was actually delayed until March. So I got to take Dead or Alive 6, and I'm going to push that into March. All right? But check this out. February 15th, we'll see the release of Crackdown 3, Far Cry New Dawn, Jump Force, and Metro Exodus. Guys, that is, to me, that is an awesome day of games releasing. And I want to hear what the panel thinks about like these games getting all released in one day. And I want to know, out of those games, which games are you thinking about picking up? Which games are you interested in playing? Who is going to win the battle for February 15th? And I'm actually going to start with Dark because he let me know about DOA 6. So Dark, Crackdown, Far Cry, Jump Force, Metro Exodus. What are you interested? Who's going to win February 15th, man?
That's a good question. I don't think any of them are going to win February 15th. I think Anthem is going to be the big game after that week. So I mean, Anthem is going to probably take the reins from them.
That's a week later, though, man. What are you doing? You're killing my show.
But a week later. But that's the thing. A week later, like a lot of gamers will wait a week and get Anthem or whatever, you know. But I think honestly, you know, if I was going to say either any one, I would say probably Crackdown 3 because it's going to be in Game Pass.
See, that's the right answer
winner
right
for
there.
them.
That's the right answer right there.
You know, because that game's definitely have a better chance of you know, more people playing it.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I would probably pick up Metro, if anything, just because I'm a huge fan of those games. But I mean, I'm not picking that up. I'm gonna wait until Anthem comes out. So.
All right, now check this out. I find this date really interesting because there was a couple games like Crackdown was originally slotted for February 22nd. Like at one point in time, like around the holidays, there was like 4 or 5 games coming out on the 22nd. I'm looking at like the release list here, and like there's a couple days that might have 3 games, but one of them's not really like anything that I heard of or anything like that. Dude, what happened here? How the hell did they get games like Crackdown, you know, Far Cry, like Jump Force? What made all these companies, like, what do you think made them all decide that, you know, we're all going to release February 15th, everybody together, man?
I think it's more just because they're different games, you know. I think because Far Cry 5 Far Cry New Dawn is basically Far Cry 5 with, you know, it's basically like the Blood Dragon of Far Cry 5, you know, like it's basically, you know, kind of like rehashing all the elements of what Far Cry 5 brought, and then, you know, bringing it into a different type of element, like, you know, post-apocalyptic type of world. You know, Jump Force is a fighting game. I think that game's gonna probably, you know, it's probably gonna get crushed, but I think, you know, it doesn't mean that it's not gonna be. But that's the thing. It doesn't mean it's not gonna be a good game. I just think it's gonna get crushed in the terms of sales. But I think in the long run, it'll probably do a lot better than what it did. It probably will succeed in other realms or whatever. I think, you know, for Metro, it's really just, I think it's more about the fans, you know, for them. People will probably, you know, kind of gravitate towards that if they're huge fans of that series. Crackdown 3 is definitely fans and Game Pass. You know, that's why I think they decided, hey, you know, we could push it up a week and bring this out a week earlier. You know, because we can get it in the Game Pass day one, and we can, you know, see the success. Especially, I think Microsoft just didn't want to go up against, you know, Anthem, because they probably figured, you know, that game's probably gonna be
I think they
a
really
hit.
don't care. With the game coming out on Game Pass, I think that's what they're thinking when it comes to
It's just
Crackdown.
a Game Pass thing.
Yeah, I don't think
Yeah,
they
I mean,
care
that could be.
anymore who they
Yeah,
drop with.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah, that's probably possible. I mean, that's definitely a possibility.
Mhm.
I don't think you know, there's going to be games that are just not going to sell very well, and I think the only one I think the only two that I think are going to not sell well are Far Cry New Dawn and Jump Force.
You really think Far Cry? Oh, well, that's interesting, and we might get back to that. I want to get to the rest of the panel here, and I'm gonna go with Knoxximus, man. Now, Knox, you heard the games February 15th. I want to ask you, like, how did this happen? Where like the original look was February 22nd, and then I believe Crackdown moved out of there, and like Metro moved out of there, and all of a sudden, like, it seemed like they all went to the same date except for Anthem, and now it's like the battle of February 15th. Like, how do you think that happened? And then what games are you looking forward to on that date, man?
Well, I'm gonna tell you why it happened. They didn't want an Anthem. That's what that.
So they
was.
all moved over to like
They
another
all
day.
moved over. Well, you know, Microsoft has a little play, right? Because they could be like, well, hey, we're giving it to you early and on Game Pass. Yeah, baby, you can play. They can spin
That's
that
not
card.
a little play either. That's a huge play right
that's,
there.
That's what I'm saying. And they got a week, you know, for let people try it out. People gonna play it. The one that I would really like to like if I was to purchase one, if Anthem wasn't coming out, it would have been Metro. But since I'm gonna get Anthem on the 22nd, I'll probably just mess with some Crackdown on the 15th and wait for Metro to hit the bargain bin and then pick that up when they ain't
No
nothing
Jump
else to
Force,
play.
man.
I don't even know what that is, bro.
Dude.
You know what that is, man.
Yo, you
No,
just made Mega mad. I already
Jump
know it right now.
Oh, then that gotta be some one of them caricature games with them big head characters. I don't know. I don't know what that is. I don't mess with those.
All right.
That's your man Mega right there. Go ahead, Mega. Get him.
Yo, no, I like that you're like, well,
I'm
they
just staying quiet.
they just didn't want to mess with Anthem, and that's why they just all moved to the same date, just a little bit earlier. Like they all went to the 15th. That's interesting.
They said, "Fuck, let's try it." They said, "Fuck, let's try it, man. We got to just try to beat them to the
I don't
punch."
think
Anthem is a given. I just hope that Anthem is, as good as I'm expecting it to be. You know what I'm saying? I am getting myself a little hype for it.
I can hear it in your voice, man. It's amazing. Guys in the chat, you remember when I first did the introductions, how Knox was sounding, right? And now you hear him now talking about Anthem, and I think it's two tales, different story going on here.
Some talk kept him from jumping off the ledge, man.
Yeah, I know, right? He's back with us. He's not even thinking about jumping, man. Well, yo,
yeah, man. I've been looking forward to it for a minute since they announced it. I'm a big BioWare fan. You know what I mean? Since the Mass Effect series, Star Wars, the Old Republic. So I want to see that BioWare. I was a little disappointed with the one with the funny faces, the Mass Effect Andromeda. You know what I mean? Yeah, you know what I mean.
The funny face.
But it did have some decent stuff. You know what I'm saying? I did enjoy the multiplayer in that game. It wasn't story-wise, it didn't deliver what I came to expect from a Mass Effect game, especially with something damn near perfect like Mass Effect 2 was. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's the BioWare I want to see. I really want to see them representing this game and give me that gameplay that I like, because I enjoy that type of, immersive world where you get to play with your peoples and Destiny style. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
well, here's the thing. We're talking about February 15th, man. If I let you go on, this is going to turn into an Anthem love fest for like
Anthem is
another
going
hour,
to win
man.
February 15th on February 22nd.
Yo, Mega, dude, you heard the games coming out, man. First off, how do you agree with Mega? Like, do you agree with Knox that like the developers just all decided to move to the same day? to me, this is ironic how we were looking at the 22nd and how stacked that was. Games started moving. We're like, all right, they're spreading out, and then they all move to the 15th. And then what games are you looking forward to on that date, man?
Man, I mean, look, I hate to disappoint.
Oh, my bad, Mega. Also,
yeah,
check out Yobi in the chat. I don't know if you saw it. He said Xbox 448, but basically he said that he rather them do the anime graphics for Jump Force other than kind of like what they're doing now. I guess like in terms of the 3D.
Oh, he's got to see it in person to respect it. Because I was the same way, and then when we was out there and we played it at E3, I was like, whoa, this shit looks stupid. Like, it looks crazy. It looks really, really good. So I thought the same thing. Like,
well, you're a fighter at
Naruto.
Heart anyway, too, man, right?
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I thought it was like, but I was kind of like, do the Naruto. No. You just play it the way that it is. It's crazy. It looks really good, man. It looks a lot better on your television than it does like through watching it through somebody else's screen. But look, the definite winner is going to be probably list the games again.
All right. So we got Crackdown.
Mm-hmm.
We have Jump Force. We have hold on. All right, Crackdown, Jump Force, Far Cry, New Dawn, which I think actually looks really good. I like the villains in this. I think those villains are going to go down in gaming history as well. I feel like there's a lot there. And Metro Exodus as well. It's a stacked day, dude. It's a stacked day.
It is. I think what Knox and Optimus forgot was that Microsoft has a marketing deal with Anthem. So and they have EA access. So again, so why would you bring out your game while you have a marketing rights deal with Anthem? So you know what I'm saying, Anthem needs to have its own place. So and then
I think Anthem forgot his tinfoil hat.
Well, okay,
that makes sense, man. I forgot all about that, man.
Yeah, and so then while you can, and so like during those, and then if you got EA access, you'll get to play Anthem beforehand, and then you'll have a good long week or so with Anthem, and then Crackdown will come if you bought it. I'm pretty sure you'll get to play it. I guess maybe 2 or 3 days early, and so then you'll get to test out a little bit of that. The game I'm worried about Metro. That's the game that I'm more worried about than anything.
A lot of people are saying that too, man.
Because look, it Jump.
That's a marketing deal with that game too.
Yeah, and they have a marketing game with that as well. And so therefore Jump Force could definitely be the game to be the last one out. But I think that it's personally going to be Far Cry that's going to be the one that's going to get left behind. But I don't think Metro is going to pull the numbers that a lot of people think, because there's still people now that's just now playing Metro, and the people, and there's not nobody that I know that doesn't really like the game. It's just the fact that it's just not that first game on their radar. And Jump Force has got crazy hype. The fighting community is all over that.
Jump Force is going to do well, because
Jump Force is going to surprise a lot of people. So you know what I'm saying. So Metro Exodus, and it's going to be It's going to be Metro and
Far Cry.
Far Cry is going to be the ones that's going to be the ones that will be kind of overlooked at that point, because Crackdown is going to get a lot of attention from Game Pass. I think if it was just Crackdown that was just going to get that you had to buy it, then I think I would have said Crackdown was probably going to be the last on the list. But because of Game Pass, it's going to get a lot of people's attention, and there's just too many games at that point to where people are going to want to play. You know what I'm saying? They can't play all those games at one time. So everybody's going to be playing the shit out of Anthem, and then they're going to be playing Crackdown, and then they're going to be playing Jump Force. Those are the 3 games that's going to be in high rotation. Plus the fact, let's not forget about Kingdom Hearts 3 that comes out on the 29th. And then, you know, there's going to be other people that's going to be waiting for some other games that's going to be coming right after that. So yeah, I think that Metro is in a tight spot.
Now check this out, yo, Mega. With big games, like, you know, there is hype for Anthem, all right. And I definitely agree with you on the whole Crackdown thing. I'm glad you brought up the marketing deal and EA access, because to me, I always thought, like, if Crackdown and Anthem came out on the same day, I really felt like Microsoft, Xbox, it was like, it's no big deal because it's going to Game Pass anyway. And that's where they're going to get their active users and everything like that. Are you surprised that they went kind of like back into February and not like forward into March?
No, because Crackdown, because this is a perfect strategy. And I also forgot, big shout out to Infinity DOK. Microsoft got the marketing rights to Jump Force. So Microsoft's going to have a huge month.
Yeah.
So you're going to have a game that's going to be probably most looked at as probably maybe the potential game of the year contender in the sense of popularity as an Anthem. Then you're going to have you know what I'm saying, the acclaimed you know what I'm saying, one of the best acclaimed novel games in Metro. Then you're going to have a highly acclaimed fighter in Jump Force. Then you're going to have a highly acclaimed game for Game Pass with Crackdown. You know what I'm saying? So Crackdown is going to be that game that you're going to want to Game Pass a lot, because a lot of people's going to Game Pass it. I just, that's just the reality of it, because it's been out too long. The hype is gone for a lot of it, for a lot of people, and it's just what people just want to kind of play it and see, instead of probably want to spend their money on it. So the best thing for Microsoft to do is to advertise the shit out of it with Game Pass, and then you have the other 3 games that's right there available with one of the potential.
So basically, you're calling this the month of Xbox then, when it comes to February?
Yeah, hell yeah, it's definitely the month of Xbox. If this was PlayStation having the marketing rights, we would hear Mooch, we would hear Crap, we would hear all these other guys talking about where's the marketing deals, where's the marketing rights? Come on, Microsoft, Aaron Greenberg, where they at? And now, what do we hear? Crickets. Come on, Mooch. Come on, Crap. Come on, guys. Open your damn mouth and give.
Well, now the next thing they'll say
is huge for advertising. Well, as long as they advertise. Now that's one thing.
Well,
That's what I was about to say.
I did see the Metro. I did see the Metro commercial. It was pretty dope. But again, you know, I mean, it just showed you some nice little clips and shit. It looked impressive visually. You know, nothing. It didn't get too into it like OD, but they did do it with the, you know, whole Microsoft thing at the end. You know what I mean? So they just need to get it out there more, and they need to do it with all of those games, and Crackdown, Anthem, all of that.
Right. Yeah, because that's what the question that I was asking on GRG last night was like, where the hell is the advertisement for Crackdown? But then now, after you bringing this up, Bot, it makes perfect sense to where they have so many marketing deals. They need to start working towards the end of the month. Maybe, maybe here in the next week or so, to start working on getting people excited about Anthem and other games.
Hold on. She's at work.
Okay. Well, Pred, what do you think about this?
Let's see. February 15th. Only game I'm getting. Only game I'm probably worried about.
He's asking me like physics types parent things, and I'm like, no, I can't answer right now, dude.
Just punch him in the stomach, man. Tell him to
parenting by
That's
Pred.
abuse to children. Now we know Pred is abuse to his children.
That ain't abuse. That's tough love. Get it
right.
Right.
It's no proof if you wear a sock on your fist.
That's how they respect you.
That's how you respect you.
Yeah, I was gonna go to Pred anyway, so thank you, Mega, for doing that for me.
Yeah, I saw you was in trouble. I was like, okay, kick it on, Pred.
Yeah. So only game I'm actually interested in is Crackdown, because it's in Game Pass. I would not buy it because I haven't really played any other Crackdowns anyway. So I'll definitely be playing that on Game Pass. And Metro Exodus, I most likely will pick up on PC. It's a single player game. So it's also also one of the fact that I don't think anybody caught on was that Far Cry is only $39.99, where the other games are all $60. So that might make a little bit of a difference, but I'm not a huge Far Cry fan. I've never been able to get through those games, to be honest with you.
What color was 42? I thought Crackdown was 40.
I don't know. I haven't looked at Crackdown's price. It's in Game Pass. So
nobody's really looking at Crackdown's price
because
it's in Game Pass.
Yeah. Yeah. So like I was like, I get Game Pass. What the fuck ever. So I'll play it in that. And but I think out of all of those, even though Dead or Alive moved, wasn't there something else supposed to come out around this time too? Because I remember it got moved. Was it that
Days Gone?
Days Gone.
That got moved to we don't know when. So
that got moved to April.
Are you sure about that though?
Yes,
March,
it
April,
got moved to April.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been confirmed to be in April.
I know potentially this was going to be like a crazy day, and a couple of games moved out of the way. But I honestly think I think Crackdown will probably get a lot of press because it's in Game Pass, and a lot of people will get a chance to try it. Whereas the other games, people have to actually physically buy, well, not physically, but they have to buy it, right? So either if you like cram for cash for this month and you have Game Pass, you're gonna play Crackdown. If you have the money and you want to buy something, I think most people will probably buy Jump Force. I'm not a huge fighter like K Mega is.
That game looks hot though, man. I can't lie, yo. That game looks
not
sick.
just because it's a fighter, because there's a following for those.
Dude, you got
characters.
all those anime characters from all those shows.
You got
man.
DBZ, Naruto, Inuyasha. Man, you got like fucking Fist of the North Star.
You
Like
already went. My turn. My turn.
Okay, my bad. Yeah, I'm getting hyped now. I'm getting hyped, risking it all for motherfucking stuff.
Yeah, but you're right, and I'm not into the anime scene like that. But I know a lot of people are, and so like having all those characters in that game will probably make it the winner. And I think with the caveat that Crackdown 3 is in Game Pass, I think a lot of people will play it in Game Pass as well. And I'm gonna take a note from Knox. I think these games are just to hold us over till the next week when Anthem comes out. So like,
damn, I can't believe you guys.
You won't even hear about these games.
Yo, I am hoping that Anthem is absolutely everything you guys want. After saying that, like, pretty much you're saying Anthem on the 22nd is gonna win the 15th. Like, that's pretty much what you guys are.
Well, it can win the 15th because guess what? It's gonna be in EA Access at that time.
Yeah.
So
Let me put it to you like this. You know, I can't say too much, but Anthem is going to be okay. Anthem is going to do fine.
It's going to be fine there, guys.
It's going to be fine.
Yo, I do want to give a huge shout out to the Iron Lords podcast who is in the chat. What is up, my brothers? Guys, I hope you see that I kind of revamped this show. It looks, I think, a little better, a little more streamlined. Maybe a little more professional. Yo, hit up the chat. Let me know what you guys think about this look. And yo, Knox, you see, I kind of adjusted your whole scene here. I hope you like it, man.
Yeah, I'm checking it out right now.
All right, brother. You were in the city last week.
He didn't sound so enthusiastic about that.
Well,
he was like, yeah, it looks good.
I don't know. He was in the city last week. He's out in the stars this week. So, but yeah, huge shout out to everybody checking out the show right now. At this point in time, I would love to let you guys know that if you could just hit that thumbs up button for us, share this out on social media, let people know that it is on and popping in next podcast. You know we would really, really appreciate that. But guys, going into more news. All right, let's go into we have CES, which is basically a tech expo that happens every year. And the big hype going into this year's CES was AMD. Now, of course, a lot of it was on the PC graphic card kind of like side of things and the CPU and all that good stuff. Now, within AMD's keynote, they actually brought up our man, Phil Spencer. I know I put this in the DM, basically the clip where he got on stage and, you know, he was talking with the CEO of AMD. And I'm looking at this, and in my opinion, I'm like, wow, like their partnership is really strong. They were talking about, you know, the work that they both put into making sure backwards compatibility was a thing on Xbox, talking about the work they're putting in to make sure that games run good through streaming on multiple devices, and of course, new hardware. So I'm going to start with K Mega on this. Now, Mega, first off, did you check out when Phil got on stage with AMD at CES?
Yes. Yeah.
All right. Now, after watching that, I after that keynote, I was like, wow, like I know AMD makes you know, chips for Sony, and they make chips for Xbox, but I was looking at this and I was like, damn, it seems like the partnership between, you know, Microsoft, Xbox, and AMD, to me that looks like a really close partnership. What did you get out of what they were talking about on the stage, and did anything kind of stick out to you, man?
Yeah, no, I mean it's very friendly, almost kind of kind of weird friendly because I mean the way that they were complimenting each other,
kind of touching each other's shoulders.
Yeah. But I mean that just shows how tight that these two companies are. Because remember that there was rumors of maybe Microsoft wanting to try to acquire AMD when AMD was in a bad spot. So obviously, with them two helping each other, and now AMD is right now it's look like it's outpacing even NVIDIA and what's the other one? Intel.
Well, more Intel right now. Like when it came to the graphic card side of things, like people were expecting to see what they call the Navi architecture.
Yeah,
they didn't show that. So
yeah, they didn't show that, and that's what I was saying. Like, I mean, everybody's now talking about AMD when when I got an AMD so many years ago when I first got this old bird up and running. There was like, oh man, on the AMD you can cook a pizza on it. So now
like, what the hell are you doing there, man?
What are you doing? So now it's completely changed, and just with the partnerships between them, and we know AMD is working on something with PlayStation, but I think that's on a whole nother. I think with the Navi stuff or whatever. But it just comes to show that they're really excited about what this new Xbox is going to be, and obviously for bringing them on the stage. And PlayStation had their own little thing, and we didn't see anything from AMD from them. So it was basically like, look, whatever that's going to be in this PlayStation 2, this Xbox Scarlet, this thing is we put a lot of hard work and effort into it, and just get ready for it. And that gets me really stoked about what this new console is going to be. And plus, one of my other favorite things the other show was looking at the TVs. The TVs was really dope. The display,
dude, that roll up TV was insane.
Oh,
man.
The TV that went down into
its case. Oh
yeah,
my
like
goodness.
that was sick. Like
anybody got $8,000 I could use, man?
Oh, right. I mean, Sony's AKs, they look fire. Samsung, like that's why I went with the QLED, man. That QLED Samsung just makes TVs like out of this world. I know a lot of people still love
TCL is going with QLED as well, man.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's like it's really crazy. Plus, like what Razer is doing with their with the mouse and keyboard. I thought that
you had to bring that up, right, man?
Hey, man, I thought that was real slick, man. You get that, put that little mouse on top of that little board, and it sticks there, and you get. Look, man, this is just what is going with gaming, and I love the options because it makes console gaming, it makes that console gaming world and that space even more open to other gamers that may not would never think about buying a console. So I love that. I love that integration, and then there were some other things, of course, that I liked. The last thing I'll say, and then move it on, but was this Mercedes Benz that they showed that took your heart rate. If it seemed that you were stressed out, it would set the mood in the lights, and then it would play different type of relaxing music, and it would cool the car down so you could relax. And you could talk to it. It would talk back to you. It had Alexa. Like, I'm like, that's crazy.
Yo, Mega, I just want to let you know that Benz will not slide out a foot massager like below the seat for you if you're stressed out.
Well, maybe
let you know that, man.
One thing that they needed to do was probably have some damn toenail clippers for my man Livewire for that crazy shit last night. I was like, it's like, what the hell are you doing, bro? But anyway, yeah, no, it was a really good show. It was probably one of the best ones I've seen in years, actually.
All right. Well, now that we got your general thoughts about everything CES, I'm gonna bring it back to the topic of Phil Spencer on stage with AMD. Yo, Pred, I gotta know, did you check out, kind of like their interaction on stage and what they were talking about?
Yeah, I did. I peeked it. I saw the link you sent in the chat, and they've had a good relationship with AMD for a while now. So I know at least going back through this generation when they use a chip, because that's when I bought their stock when it was like $7 a share. It's up like $20.
Are you happy now?
Oh, definitely. Yeah. And I like the interaction, the fact that they brought Phil on stage. They didn't bring up anybody from Sony on their stage. They brought Phil Spencer on stage. Let you know that they have a really good relationship, even though Sony's a market leader as far as consoles sold. Like they brought Phil out there. Just for whatever reason, I think they have a really good relationship, and the interaction between both of them on stage seemed really good. So it didn't seem like they were just some bullshit made up, like we're fake friends and let's sit here and talk for a little bit, like with I guess what was it, E3 or whatever? No, the Game Awards show, when all three of the guys came up there, just looked awkward.
Yeah, dude, that
Where-
was so plastic, man.
Yeah, like this interaction between him and her seemed genuine. Like they had, they had a good business relationship together. And so going forward, I know Sony's working on some stuff with AMD as well, but I think
It seems it's more, with the Sony side of things, and like I haven't seen them like talking to each other in public and stuff like that. So to me, like the Sony deal with AMD is more like that structural contract. Yeah, we're gonna give you hardware. What do you want? Like really professional.
yeah, it's like, hey, we want you to make us a chip, and they're like, okay, we'll make you a chip.
Yeah.
Whereas with Microsoft, they're like, we want you guys to make us some chips, but this is what we want. We want it tailored to something. And I think when Phil comes out and when the Xbox One X and the Xbox One came out, they were kind of saying, this is a custom chip, like, because they went out to them and they said, we need you guys to do something specifically for this. Like when they had the X come out, they talked about that, and they were saying like how they went to AMD and they built it backwards. They didn't build it like, here's our console, we need to put a chip in. It was like, we need the chip first.
Yeah,
and we're gonna work off of this chip. So I think that's what kind of helped build the relationship, even though it's supposed to be like a custom Jaguar chip that's in there right now. So I think they're working on something similar to that for the next consoles, and for them, just their chip isn't most likely just going in the Xbox. I think it's going in some of the other stuff like the Surface as well. So
yeah.
So they have a good relationship with them because they make a lot of money off of Microsoft. It isn't just
that.
The
that
console.
does make a good relationship when you can make a huge profit off of somebody. You're more inclined to be like, hey, how you doing? You see them on the side of the street. You remember how much money you made through a partnership. Hey, how you doing? Yeah, come over. How's the family? All that good stuff. You know what I'm saying? Now, Predator, I'm not sure how much you are into like the tech stuff, but I do have to ask because a lot of people thought the new GPU architecture, that Navi architecture, was going to be shown at CES, and we all know that architecture goes first into graphics cards, and then it's implemented throughout a line of products, eventually getting in to the APU, which is pretty much what these consoles use. Now, I have gone on record saying that the GPU in the next Xbox is going to be heavily Navi. Do you think that, like, because they showed the Gen 2 of the, oh man, what the hell is it called? Vega. They showed Gen 2 of Vega at 7 nanometers. All right, so it's a 7 nanometer Vega. Gen 2. Do you think that it's more likely now that will be the base of what's in the next series of Xboxes in terms of their GPU, man?
I could see that with the custom Navi, whereas the next chip up is not going to be cheap. I think that's what I've heard rumored Sony's trying to put in their system, but that won't come cheap at all. I think to keep the cost down, they'll stick with the Navi architecture and try to keep it custom and keep it cheap, so the console isn't like $600 fucking bucks.
I got you, man. Yo, huge shout out to Taser Delight out there in the chat. Yo, brother, I gotta find some rhyme or way to make you a fan of mine, because it seems that once you are a fan of something, you will defend it to the end, and I need that. I need that on my side, man. So, yo, thank you for checking out the show, brother. Yo, Dark, I'm not sure. Did you check out the whole AMD at CES, the keynote, and when Phil got up there?
Nope.
No? All right, next.
Yeah, pretty much. Because I mean, I just didn't have time to watch it.
You were too busy polishing your sandals that cover the big toe. I understand, man.
Damn.
Yeah, dude, that takes a lot of time and a lot of work. Okay,
you got a really big toe.
All them holes, man. All them holes. Yo, Knox. I gotta know. Did you check that out, man?
Yeah, I checked out. I didn't get to check out like the whole, CES and.
Well, brother, hold on. I'm gonna say, like, I know we are from the street, man. We know how to read body language and everything like that. So if you checked it out, man, what is your breakdown of what was shown there?
No, like I said, I didn't get to check it out. I only checked
I
out
thought
the
you said
clip.
you did. Shit.
Nah, man. I didn't get to check it out, bro, because I've been,
Man.
got caught up with with what's been going on at work and all that. But I did check out the little clip that you sent, and Fred pretty much covered it, man. That's basically the gist of what I got from that little, introduction to the stage and being brought out, by by the young lady from AMD. And yeah, man, it's just solidifying, that AMD and Microsoft have this, tremendous working relationship, and that's just going to continue moving forward, man, for the next upcoming Xbox, bro. So it's
when I put it out there on Twitter, I was like, man, it looks like AMD and Microsoft, like, their partnership is strong. I thought I was going to get a lot of hate for that, man. I really did, because like,
you can't, because it's the truth.
Dude,
you know what I mean?
I read between the lines on that, and I'm like, damn, they are like really kind of like cooking shit together. You know what I'm saying? They're really. I think what happened here is when Microsoft and Xbox started talking about those 2 billion people out there and stuff like that. AMD looked over and was like, yeah, we got you with that. You're talking about 2 billion consumers, 2 billion customers. You're trying to get your. Yeah, we can help with that. We'll get in on that share right there, man. I mean, it's only natural, in my opinion. I don't know. But guys, moving on. Let's get to one of the hot topics. One of the topics that has been out there, social media, other live podcasts. I could not wait until Saturday because I wanted to hear what the panel thought about this. It is official. The creators of the Destiny franchise are breaking away from their publisher from hell, Activision. Oh my goodness! You know what? He took last on the last topic, but I think we gotta go to my brother Knoxximus first. Now, Knox, I gotta ask you, what does this separation mean to you? Because I know you are a Destiny fan. I know you love the franchise. It's a love-hate relationship, and I'm seeing from a lot of Destiny fans, that's pretty much the way to be a fan of this game, of this franchise. Dude, man, let us know. What do you think about them separating from this? And people are concerned about the next Destiny 3. What do you think about that?
I don't know why anybody would be concerned. If anything, this just reopened me even considering purchasing Destiny 3. All right, this news was the best thing that could have happened, because that love-hate relationship. I love everything Bungie about it and hate everything Activision about it, doing in terms of Destiny, because it's the decisions that Activision obligated Bungie to make that ruined the game, like the Eververse store, like destroying the lore and the story just so that they can put it their way, so they can chop the game up and then sell it to you in installments.
By destroying the lore? Because here's the deal. Like, I've been listening to everybody on this whole thing, all right? And when it comes to a couple things that I feel is Activision's kind of like responsibility, it was their doing. Now, first off, I felt like the contract and having these timelines, almost impossible timelines to get games out. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise, Activision will fully own the franchise. That was an Activision thing there that I did not like.
But Activision are the ones that made it happen. Bungie already had something created. Took them like about a year and change to get it all done, or 2 years. And then when it's almost coming to fruition, Activision comes in. Nah, scrap it. Scrap it. We don't like
that. Can they do that though?
But they did it. They did it twice. They did it to Destiny 1 and they did it to Destiny 2. Where they made them scrap it and give them a year to start it all over. That's why we got the bare bones, the whole thing. The whole same thing that happened to Destiny 1 happened to Destiny 2. Only in Destiny 2, the story appeared to be a little more fleshed out, but it really wasn't.
I like the presentation of what I guess we can call it vanilla Destiny 2. Like that Destiny game, Destiny 2, when it released, that was the game that hooked me into playing that game. All right.
Yeah, and they did a good job, but that wasn't what Bungie wanted to do. That's just what Bungie had to do. They had no choice. They just had to. You know, they went from the Taken King. Like, if you look at Destiny 1, you see the content that they dropped. You see it's out of whack. It's like certain things where you be like, you know what, that was supposed to have happened before this happened, you know. So you can see where they chopped it up to sell it to you in installments and charge you for DLC as opposed to giving you the full game, you know, initially. This is a good thing, man. Now all they got to do is come on home to Microsoft, baby. Phil gonna take care of you. He gonna put some Starbucks, like Mooch said, some lattes, the kumbaya candy.
Yo, brother, we will get into that, man.
Come on down,
dude. You are talking baby. Some. Yo, you got to put down the glue. Stop inhaling that shit. All right, man.
Come on back.
Yeah, come back to reality, there, brother.
Yo, brother. Yo, and yo,
that's a 700-man team, baby. Microsoft got that guap for you. How you gonna fund Destiny 3?
All right,
I'm sure they paid an arm and a leg to get out of that damn contract with Activision. That shit wasn't for free. You know what I mean?
They're still in the stages of getting all like the publishing rights back under the Bungie umbrella and everything like that. They said they're in the early stages when it comes to that whole thing. But I think it is a win for Bungie that they're able to keep their franchise as a whole. You know, their development, the franchise itself, their publishing, everything like that. They're going to be able to walk away with everything Destiny under Bungie's umbrella. And that's cool right there. It's just that with me, my gripes for like what's going on with Black Armory and possibly moving forward, my gripes, I don't feel like they have anything to do with Activision. So they're
real quick to G-Man 1172. You know, you are right. To a certain extent, you know what I'm saying? Bungie ain't you know, the, oh my God, woe is me, bendito, you know, Bungie's suffered. I feel you on that. It's true. They knew the devil they were getting in bed with, but I don't think that it's better the devil you know than the devil you don't, right? Why would they leave Microsoft to then go get in bed with Activision? You know what I'm saying? But yeah, Activision did do a lot of the damage too, bro. You know what I'm saying?
All right. So we are gonna get into on whether or not like, you know, Xbox should look into possibly, you know, making Bungie a first-party developer. We're going to look into that. But first, I want to get kind of like general thoughts on the whole situation from the panel, and then we'll get more into that. So, let's go. I know Dark Optimus, he is like chomping at the bit to talk about this. So I'm going to go with K Mega right now.
You freaking bitch.
Yo, he was getting ready. He was getting excited. And then he just got the rug pulled.
Yeah, I got up, got perked up in his seat and everything.
Well, we're going to go.
You were like...
Well, we're going to go with somebody that, you know, was really invested in the franchise. And now we're going to go with somebody who, you know, kind of dabbled in it, you know, didn't have possibly the best experience, you know, in the game and stuff like that. And I want to hear that opinion as well. So, K Mega, we got, you know, the evil publishing company Activision finally letting its claws like release Bungie and that game Destiny. Dude, how do you feel about this? Was Activision to blame for a lot of the stuff that, you know, you possibly didn't like in your experiences with the game, and what do you think this means for Bungie right now, man?
You know, I absolutely feel that Activision is a big part of it. I mean, Bungie do deserve some of the to getting slammed as well, because they made a lot of bad decisions. And as Gurley, get that first down, let's go. And yeah, man.
Dude, are you like triple tasking right now? Are you playing a game, watching football, and on a podcast?
No, I hate that there's not the snap feature. But anyway, this is the thing for me. It's like everybody talks about EA, but rarely people talk about Activision and their crummy ass practices. Bungie to me is like, okay, you was over here talking about no creative freedom. That's why you left Microsoft,
and then you go
to Activision when you know that you was just only being hungry for money. Then you go and it doesn't work out there. The only other option that you really have is to be on your own for a little while. Just stay independent. I don't want anybody else to try to acquire them. I want to see what Bungie can do with this property by themselves, and then we'll actually get to see whose vision was it overall, who would made Destiny the way that Destiny 2 the way that it was. Because if it goes back to the way of Destiny 1 was, I think that I might give Destiny 3 another chance.
Really?
Right. But if they take it back to, I'm talking, well, when they start doing the Tekken King and all that. But if they go and keep doing the crazy shit that they were doing it too, I'm not even going to even mess with it. I'm just going to leave it alone and just say, look, now we actually see who's the cancer within these companies. You know what I'm saying? So that's what Mega, it is.
I definitely appreciate that because, right off the bat, so many people were like, yeah, you know what I'm saying? Bungie's back and everything like that. And like I said, the problems that I have right now with the Destiny 2 game, like, I can't really pinpoint them on Activision right now. There are definitely some things, like I thought, like the scheduling, for release dates and everything like that. I thought, for lack of a better term, I thought Activision was like the Hitler company when it came to shit like that. You know what I'm saying? You don't really. Right. There's a way to make progress.
Who you think made them charge you for what they've been giving us for free with every other Destiny and calling it an annual pass? You think that was a Bungie thing or that?
Yo, brother, I hear you. But see, my gripe right now isn't really about the money being dished out. You saw me when Forsaken came out. I was happy, man, and I got like the top of the line add-on that was going on with Destiny with Forsaken. That did have the season pass. My whole thing is I feel like they're reverting it back to Destiny 1 with kind of like, searching for the story and why I'm doing things and not and the grind is just absolutely atrocious right now, man. Like I want to play more games than just Destiny, and the way the grind is right now, you have to seriously only play Destiny to possibly get the exotics that you want.
And let me make one more point. Also, Avers said something really interesting last night in regards to Bungie. And we've heard Don kind of allude to some things, but he don't really, Don kind of keeps
Don was trying to troll me in the chat.
Right, but that. But also Avers was keeping it professional, but also Avers was making the point about Bungie's behavior. There's a reason why there was a lot of people from Bungie left and stayed at 343. Okay. Because I don't know if you heard what Avers was saying, but he was saying the reason why there was so many problems with there was problems with scheduling, there was problems with like these guys partying and stuff, and then I didn't even know that they had like pictures of where they were drinking and stuff, and they supposed to have been working, and it was just a lot of things. There was a lot of diva shit going on within Bungie during that time during the Halo days. And then, things came forward. Not saying that Microsoft didn't have their faults into it as well, but I mean, look, if they have already with Activision, and Activision is making the money that they are off of this game, and then Activision is like, no, I'm going to cut you. I'm going to agree to these terms and just cut you off as well. It's not maybe so much about Activision, even though I know that they're worse to me than EA, but it might just be Bungie. But we're going to see. That's why I say I want them to stay independent.
Yeah, I am definitely that's where I'm leaning towards as well. I just feel like, at the end of the day, there's a certain stigma about Activision, and Activision has definitely earned that stigma. And I'm not saying that Bungie won't be better off, you know what I'm saying, won't have more freedom when it comes to, separating themselves from this publisher. I'm just not certain that, the things that I don't like about Destiny 2 right now have anything to do with Activision. And I'm a little concerned that, like, what I don't like about the game is what Bungie really wants to double down on in the game. You see what I'm saying? So I'm not so quick to be like, hip hip hooray here.
That's Bungie. Just what Bungie wanted to do, right? As far, all right, let's say my favorite part of the game, right? And the air quotes already up. Crucible.
Yeah.
What they originally wanted, what they did with the original Destiny 2, the 4v4 with the higher time to kill, that's what they wanted. The community are the ones who bitched and moaned about it, and they kept on complaining and complaining and complaining. I don't know why, because now only the sweaties and the griefers own the game. Now it's their game again. You know what I mean? If you want Call of Duty, go play Call of Duty.
Oh, by the way, Graphic God, we got to get a Knox shirt about the sweaties. All right, we got to get something done there, man. Oh, okay, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, yeah. So you know that I feel you on those changes. You know what I mean? And but yeah, they do give the community. They tried supposedly to give the community what they want. That's what they've been asking for. Crucible never been more broken, but all them sweaties love it. Oh man, this is the best it's ever been. Yeah, when you're kicking my ass, you scraping the floor with everybody, 50 kills under your belt, while homeboy at the bottom of the list got 3. Come on, man, you need better matchmaking. The Bungie broke their own Crucible, their own multiplayer, just to make that group of players happy. Instead of fixing,
but is that
instead
an
of
Activision
fixing
thing though.
No, that ain't Activision. That's just Bungie
See
trying to cater to their fans. Yeah, that's just them trying to, please their fans. You can't please everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And they broke the game in my opinion, to try to please that group of people.
I'm gonna say something here that, and yo, Dark, I know you're dying right here, man. I know you're dying. I just want to say this one thing, yo. At the end of the day, when it comes to development teams, some of them, they need that guidance. They need that pressure. Otherwise, like, they just won't come out with anything either. Like, if you look at the story of Bungie, I remember things like, where people were talking about how Microsoft and Xbox were getting on their ass about this is the deadline for the game, this is it, even to the point where, with Halo 2 and the ending, it was referenced that, the ending was cut off because they just didn't have any more time to develop kind of like the rest of that story or whatnot. But I feel like that game would have been in development forever if Microsoft didn't step in. So at the end of the day, some development teams, they need somebody kind of like looking over their shoulder like, hey, you done with that? You done with that? Yo, guys, the date's right there. Are you done with that? And Bungie might be one of those dev teams. But let's go to Dark Optimus. Dark, I know you get into Destiny. We've played Destiny 2 together. What do you think about this news? Is this good for Bungie? Is this good for the Destiny fan base, man? What are your thoughts here?
I'm probably gonna have the most unpopular popular opinion.
I am so glad you're out, because otherwise I would have.
in this podcast right now. I think this is good for Activision. I think this is something that they're gonna be able to get away from Bungie and I think it's more along the lines of like, I think Bungie isn't what it used to be, because a lot of the people who work for 343 were ex Bungie employees. I think Bungie is a has been. I think they're kind of on their last leg.
Wow! Did you just call Bungie a has been?
I think they have potential to be great again, but I mean they need to not. I think they need to get away from the Destiny brand. I think they should come up with a new IP. I think they should get out of their element. Maybe make something that's something that they haven't made before. Because I mean, right now all they have really is Halo under the belt and Destiny, and I think they need to get out of that element and put themselves in a different light. But as you guys know, they've never really had great stories. I think they need to hire new writers to give them an edge on their storytelling. I think they're just in a. I think they're just the. I just think that they might have gotten a little cocky in the past couple of years, and I think that they're gonna pay for it when, and pay for it since that they left from Activision, and I honestly I don't think this was Bungie's doing. I think this is Activision's doing. I think Activision was like, you're not living up to what we want, and
you're gone.
We don't need you anymore. Yeah, I think Activision was just like, hey, you have a contract with us, but you know what? You guys can't break that contract, but you know what? We can. So here you go. Pay us whatever, to get out of your contract and see ya. You know,
See,
I think honestly,
wow.
Activision just I think Activision
I
is
think
just
I'm when
done with them.
we go off air, I am gonna clip Dark Optimus's response to this, and I'm gonna make my own separate video on this because this is something we have not heard anybody say about this topic. Yo, Dark, I am glad you are on here, man, just to come with a different perspective right now than kind of like the majority out there. At the end of the
Yeah,
day,
I think a lot of people look at it as being
a Bungie decision.
a Bungie good thing, you know. Bungie for Bungie, I don't think it's going to be good for Bungie. I think Bungie needs a publisher. I think they need somebody to hold their hand and tell them what to do. And I don't think that they're a company that knows really how to do that without a publisher.
All right. Well, before we go to Pred, does anybody have a reaction to what Optimus said? Because, like I said, I haven't heard this from the community. Now, when it came down to like the sales of Forsaken and stuff like that, I believe Activision did come out and say that the sales weren't as high as they expected. You know what I'm saying? So that right there, that's trouble when your publisher is saying, yeah, it's not what we had expected to make on that content right there. Anybody got anything to say with what Dark just said? Yeah.
Looks sounds pretty accurate to me.
Damn. So you agree with Dark that this is good for Activision?
I think it's like he melt in his seat because he had to agree with me.
Yo, nah, man. I wouldn't say that, yo. Like Mega, when Mega agrees with you, I just want to let you know, in his head, it's actually you agreeing with him.
Right,
what's
exactly.
Going
yeah.
on, man.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, exactly.
But Knox, nothing to say on that.
I mean,
no,
listen,
Activision.
It's a possibility. I don't think so. I don't think that I don't think that Activision broke that because they still wanted this. I mean, it's possible, man. You never know, but. Forsaken did poorly.
Look
Why?
at this awesome gameplay right now, by the way. I just want to throw it out there real quick. Go ahead.
Oh,
I mean, Forsaken didn't sell as well as Activision expected because, you forced out 2 shit DLCs before that. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice. You know what I mean? You ain't going to get dudes twice. You know what I'm saying? Like, the third time's a charm, right? So that's why I didn't do well. If they would have, done what they had to do with the first 2 installments, right? With the Warmind and the Osiris, Forsaken would have done great.
Touchdown.
But, yeah, I know I saw that shit. Over the penalty. See,
I don't think that
shit,
that was
Dallas
the case.
Is playing
I think,
the Rams?
Yeah.
I think Forsaken did as well as it could because of the fact that it's it was the second year DLC.
Forsaken
it had to be
was great DLC, by the way,
and it had to live up to what the Taken King brought, and I think a lot of that has to do with Bungie and them just saying, well, we're just gonna
But you're gonna tell me that if Osiris, how much people were looking forward to Osiris just on the lore, just from guys like Bife and those dudes, the Mylan Games, them lore masters. I enjoy watching them explain the lore better than the goddamn game does it because the game doesn't do it. You know what I mean? But I was hyped to see what Osiris. This guy was a legendary. Guardian.
He's a retired.
They brought my man Chris Elliott. Chris Elliott was I didn't know Chris Elliott was Osiris, dog. They bring some old man there talking shit. It was they shit the bed with that. And if they wouldn't have, and Warmind did no better. You know what I mean? They gave you 2 missions, a strike, and said book it. It didn't even make sense. You know what I'm saying? And why? They're rushed. It's like Bot said earlier, right? Sometimes there's these developers where you got to be like, hey, you finished with that yet? You finished with that yet? But if you tell Rockstar you finished with that yet, you don't get Red Dead Redemption 2. You know what I'm saying? So it's a double-edged sword,
but
man.
They're also self-publishing as well, so
no doubt. You know what I'm saying? But
I agree
they would make that bread. You know what I'm saying?
Y'all gonna let somebody else talk today? Y'all gonna keep talking?
All right, now, well, you know what?
Well, I thought you were celebrating the touchdown.
You
man.
get your turn when I say you get your turn.
No,
Whoa!
but, I'm gonna just leave it like that. Like,
Dick.
if those two would have done good, Forsaken would have done better. So, you know, Activision
Fred.
can't be too tight. Activision can't be
Don't
too
hurt me.
upset that Forsaken didn't make what they expected it to make, because it was both of their doing. They put shit out before that. They put crap out.
Yo,
I think a lot of it had to do with both Activision and Bungie.
Yeah, that's what I said. Both of them.
Bungie was like, oh well, this is what we want to do, and Activision was like,
all right, just
yeah,
add this
you can do it,
microtransaction.
but
We're good.
we got people that have obligations. I mean, we need to meet our obligations, and you guys aren't meeting it. And I don't think they were meeting it the whole time that they were making Destiny 1 and 2. So, I mean, I think they just got rid of them.
All right, check this out. Now, first off, I want to shout out Michael B in the chat. That is one of my friends from the vape shop. What is going on, brother? Good to see you in the chat, checking out the show live. Guys, we are going in hard, but we haven't let Pred talk about this. And when it comes to the business side of things, I think this is where Pred, really shines in the gaming industry, getting into the business. So, Pred, what do you think about this departure here? You got Bungie and Activision kind of getting their business divorce on here, separating. What do you think that means for each of the companies, man?
I can agree with Knox and Dark on both of their topics. What has Bungie done besides Destiny and Halo? They're not working on Halo anymore.
But
right?
you say that, but let's be honest. Hold on.
Let me get my point across.
I'm trying to give you some conversation here, man.
He ain't been doing no talking. Let him talk.
All right. Go ahead, brother.
I'll let you get your points in, because I know you're a Destiny fan. I'm just saying, like, they haven't really done anything else. And I like what Megan was saying.
Halo's iconic, though. I'm sorry, I had to say
it. Was, and
I
want to see what else they do outside of that, because they haven't really done anything else besides shooters, first-person shooters. So let's see if they can, even if they just continue that platform like they had. They had Microsoft backing them with Halo. They got Activision and backing them with Destiny, right? So let's see what they can do. If they decide to stay on their own, let's see what they can do. Part 2, what the fuck has Activision done besides Call of Duty? Like how?
Yeah, in a couple of years, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like that. If you take Call of Duty out of the mix, they haven't really done shit. I mean, and they picked up Destiny. They haven't done anything else on their own.
Well, they got Blizzard, so
yeah, and that's on PC. Most of the games are on PC, but like as far as the console space go, I mean, like they haven't really done. They like this year or this generation. Let's put it that way, because I think Blizzard, they have Overwatch, correct?
Right, and they got that one game that a lot of people are looking forward to. That's Staccato, or how you pronounce it, the ninja game.
Yeah,
Sekiro. Yeah,
Sekiro. Yeah.
Okay. So that's new, but so far this gen they've had Call of Duty World War II, which wasn't. I mean, it sold well, but it wasn't like superly hype, like it usually is. They've got Black Ops, which took a lot of heat, but I know I'm playing it right now, so I can't talk shit. Destiny, Forsaken 2, Destiny 2, whatever. Like all their games seem to have a lot of like controversy behind them. If it's not just me, let me know. But that's why it seems like to me all their games have controversy behind them. So it's either loot crates or like you're buying extra shit off the side. Like you just make a fucking game. Let me play it and be done with it and then move on. They're trying to generate as much revenue as they possibly can with each game they put out. And that's business. That's what they're supposed to do. Now, to someone else's point, like maybe it was a joint thing. They're like, because I could have swore they had a 3-game deal with Activision. Could have swore they did. And maybe I'm wrong.
They did actually.
And this has only been what, 2? So like so something happened with them where they decided.
I thought it was I really thought it was it was supposed to be like a 4-game deal from the start of the contract.
Whether it's
like
4 or 3,
I think it was 3.
Whether it was 4 or 3, they've only gotten 2. So like it doesn't matter.
But if you add up all the DLC and put it all together, that's a game.
Yeah, I mean, and I think they made the money they wanted to make, and maybe looking into the future, they're kind of like both parties made a thought like, hey, you know what? Maybe it's time we sever ties because we want to do something else. Like, because we see this in the community all the time. Like Bungie may say, hey, they did it with Xbox. We want to make this game called Destiny. And Xbox is like, nah, we want you to keep making Halo. You know, so they go to Activision like, hey, we want to make this game called Fuck Buddies. And they could have been like, nah, just keep making Destiny. You know, it could have been one of those type of deals. Maybe they didn't make enough money. You know,
Damn, I'm about to put out a hashtag bring Fuck Buddies back. Yeah.
I mean, but like we don't know, like we're not sitting in the boardroom with those guys and looking at the financials with those guys and saying, it could have been a joint thing where they could have both just kind of shook hands and be like, yo, we're done, we're good. Because keep in mind, like remember when Destiny 2 was about to come out and they were talking about delaying it again, they had that thing in their contract, right? Where it said if this game doesn't release by X date, then Activision takes ownership of Destiny. You know, like
Yeah.
You guys remember that?
Yeah.
Am I tripping?
That was
So, like,
serious too, man.
And so you know what they did? They're like, fuck it, we'll just drop Destiny. We'll drop Destiny 2 out. So and it came out on time, but I think that might have soured their relationship a little bit.
But I like the Destiny 2 that came out when they launched it though.
Yeah, and I mean, I played the first version of Destiny 2. I didn't buy any of the DLC like you guys knuckleheads did, but it was fun for what it was, and then I had to move on to other stuff. But you liked it, and a lot of people did like it. There's a huge fan base for it, huge community for Destiny 2. I want to see what Bungie does going forward. As far as them getting picked up by somebody else, I think K Mega alluded to this. He didn't want to see it. I want to see what they can do, even if they do get picked up with because I know Microsoft right now is like they're letting the developers do what they want to do, right?
Yeah.
So if they decide to get picked up by Microsoft or Sony or anybody else, I want to see what they can do with the creative freedom, an open checkbook per se, and they can do the game they want to do and not the game that Activision wanted them to do. Not the game that Microsoft wanted them to do.
Yo, Pred, check this out. I hear what you're saying. If at any point in time, if there was a time to try to get Microsoft's attention, it would definitely be now with the open wallet, the policies on letting the developers create what they want to create. My whole thing here is you pretty much had a bad relationship. We saw it on Twitter and everything like that. Activision was talking about Bungie. Even though they were kind of using nicer words, you can see what was written underneath that. Bungie was talking about Activision. So this is a fresh breakup, and I don't really want to see Xbox be that rebound publisher. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, I feel like it's been so long, and the release of the original Destiny got a lot of people into it, but then people were like, what the fuck afterwards. There was always some drama, whether it was Destiny 1, before Taken King, or whether it was after Taken King when people were like, well, what the fuck happened to the before Taken King? And then it was Destiny 2, and there was just always drama around that. So to me, and I know this sounds weird because I believe that Halo is an iconic franchise that definitely came from Bungie.
You're right.
I feel like they have more to prove now after their whole kind of debacle with Activision and what they were doing with this franchise, that they had to break off from Microsoft because they wanted to make it so badly. You know what I'm saying? And I don't think it would be a good thing to be like, hey, come on home. I don't think they have proven themselves to be anything but possibly a one-hit wonder in the game industry, man.
And keep in mind, Microsoft pretty much has all the original assets of Bungie working for them right now. So, I get your point. And like I said, I want to see them do something on their own. And if they decide to get scooped up by Microsoft, I don't want them to just come with Destiny 3. I want them to come with a brand new IP. I want them
they got
exactly. I agree with that.
Destiny 3
and also
is
Microsoft is still winning because they own 10%. So of Bungie. So it's not like they lost everything with Bungie in the first place.
But Mega, you gotta admit, well, first off, Pred, you have your super fan in the chat right now. My brother, Italian Clowns is definitely campaigning for your gameplay right now. I just want to let you know that.
Well, again, I was the only person that produced gameplay.
No,
you should be omitted. You should be omitted.
I think Knox should win because he hasn't won yet, and
you didn't win. So how are you gonna put up a winner? You never won.
Hey! We're not talking about me right now, okay?
I know. Bigger talking.
Yeah, I think he got that from the Don. The hey, and it's like, well, we're not talking about me right now. So Mega, you when it comes to, because you saw people start to flip out when Phil Spencer said, it's going to be great working with an independent developer, talking to Bungie on Twitter, and of course everybody started going nuts talking about come home and Phil, you see that, and all this good stuff. So
come home. That ain't gonna happen.
Come home, kid.
Come home.
Nah, I mean,
people are dreaming too. Gonna happen.
Nah, yeah, that's just me bugging out. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, look, I understand the nostalgia.
Yes.
And I understand, I mean, look, Bungie, you know what I'm saying? Bungie will always be synonymous with Halo because that is who really got Xbox off the ground.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I totally get that. But look, I mean, unless Xbox let's just say that they decide to come back together, right? That's going to cause a whole nother can of worms by itself within the Xbox community in regards to who really works on Halo. And if there is not like some kind of contract or something where, look, you know what I'm saying, not Destiny, but Bungie works on something completely different under Microsoft, then it just wouldn't work. It's not feasible. It just don't make any sense to me. I mean, look, I get it just because of the nostalgia of it, but it's just kind of like, look, man, it's that ship is sailed. It's just like that chick that you may have been with, and it may have been a really great goddamn time, but you know what? You know what I'm saying? She was dangerous for you.
But you break up with her. You break up with her. You marry.
It's so good.
Why y'all ain't kicked it? You know what I'm saying? I mean, you may can go ahead and still hang out every once in a while, but the fact of it is that y'all never be back together again. So the fact of it is just to leave it alone. Don't even deal with it.
Mega, check this out. Italian Clowns in the chat said 343 should buy the rights to Destiny and have the Spartans kill off the Guardians. Make the Guardians bad. Oh my goodness, man.
That would be a cool premise. But
that would be starring Locke right there.
Yeah,
there you
that
go.
would be a very cool premise. But I mean, again, it's like I just wanted, Destiny wanted this, so let them do it. You know what I'm saying? Just let them be independent. Let them see what they can do. Let's see what that company could do by delivering a new Destiny, and then the Destiny 3, and then whatever else that they may want to get with, and that's it. Like when I first seen this, the first thing that I thought was this would be the perfect opportunity for Sony to swoop up a
Dude,
company.
Wouldn't that
like
be
that.
crazy? Like, to think about it, if all of a sudden like Sony comes in and does a deal and Bungie becomes first party on that platform.
It would be crazy, but the fact of it is, it would make perfect sense because Sony does not have. And look, regardless of what Sony fanboys would like to tout and say this and say that, Sony as a company wants what Microsoft has in regards of having that single player multiplayer game that could just last throughout the whole generation. They don't have that. They don't have a shooter like Halo or Gears. They just don't. And they could try to do it with Killzone. It just doesn't work. They've tried to lag. They tried to play it. They tried to do
Resistance was cool.
Resistance was cool, but I mean, it died. That company failed.
The thing is that
they have to bring back SOCOM for that to happen.
SOCOM's got to be that type of game, but I mean, again, that would be a good game for Bungie to work on if that was the case. But for Sony to get, because Sony just needs that one thing. It's just no different than what Xbox needs, those single player experiences. To fill in, do what they did with the 360 era. PlayStation has always needed that type of shooter game, and they didn't think that it was going to be as big or as huge as it has been. Instead of them having marketing rights with Call of Duty or with Fortnite, they they would rather tout their own. And so that's why I was like, well, maybe Bungie would go there, but that don't even look like that's even a possibility. So, I mean, especially with Microsoft owning 10%, I don't think Microsoft would relinquish that 10%. So who knows?
So when it comes down to it, let me just get this straight, because we had a pretty extensive conversation here. Am I right to say that Knox is the only one on the panel that is still like come on home to Bungie, come back to Xbox?
Well, no, listen. I'm joking around when I'm saying come on home. You know, what I mean, I'm bugging, but I wouldn't hate it. You know what I'm saying? If they were, if realistically they were to come, I wouldn't hate it. To me, I'm gonna keep it a buck with you. Bungie, the way that the game feels when you shoot the guns and all that, to me, that's the one I like the most. I like it better than Call of Duty. I like it better than Far Cry. I like it better than the majority of first-person shooters. It feels real good. The mechanics, the way they move, the way they control, it's got that arcadey feel. That's what I was going to say to Mega. Like, I don't think Bungie would excel at trying to make like a SOCOM where it's like realistic guns and stuff like that. I don't think they would. I think this is what they're good at, bro. Halo's type of gunplay,
kind of like
Destiny
a strategic shooter.
That's all we've known them
Twitch.
to do, though. That's Knox. I mean, look, to be a developer, you have to be talented, and you know what you can do and what you can't do. It's just that they just go with what they were familiar with, and we've been dealing with what they've been doing for over 20 years. Well, maybe 20 years now, pretty much. So you know, it's kind of like Playground Games. You wouldn't think Playground Games would be doing touchdown. There you go, Rams. You wouldn't think that Playground Games would be making Fable. You see what I'm saying? But they're skilled enough to do it, and I think that Bungie, regardless of, like I agree with Optimus, is that they're not as talented as maybe they should be. Oh shit, that might go back, but it's
no, that's exactly what I'm saying, Mega. If they're gonna do that, don't make a shooter. You know what I mean? Like if you're gonna make a new IP, let's see a new IP. You know, no Marathon, no Destiny, no Halo. Well, you know you ain't making
a new IP would be SOCOM. So what if it's a shooter or not? It's a new IP.
Because that's not what you like you said. That's not what you're gonna be expecting. If you're gonna get a shooter from Bungie, you want it to be a Bungie shooter. You just do. You don't play Call of Duty to get Halo shooter. You know what I'm saying? You play Halo. You don't play Gears to get Tomb Raider shooting mechanic. You know what I'm saying? Like if they're gonna make a whole new IP, like Playground Games is making an RPG. Yeah, I'm excited to see what they. I see they're
fascinated with everybody making something different because the people that Guerrilla Games made Horizon Zero Dawn. Yeah. I think a lot of gamers out here are getting way out of hand. If they worked on SOCOM, I don't give a fuck because it's still a shooter or not. That's still a huge. That's different than anything that Halo is or Destiny, and that still falls into space as a completely different new IP. You see what I'm saying? So I just look at that as it's
a new IP, but it's the same.
That's what they like is making shooters. Then let them make shooters. It's no different than Namco Bandai likes making fighters. You see what I'm saying? I mean,
at the end of the day,
do what the things that they like to do. Don't force them. Don't reverse the psychology and force them to do something that they're not.
Namco didn't do too well when they tried to make.
Well, now nobody's gonna be forcing them.
Namco
they're not gonna get well
when they tried to make a Capcom style a fighter. You know what I'm saying?
What?
I said Namco didn't do too well when they tried to make a Capcom style fighter, right? When they did that crossover, that's not the fighting that you expect from Namco.
Capcom made that.
What the
Tekken Cross Street Fighter? That was Capcom that made that. The new Tekken Cross Street Fighter is going to be made by Namco. That's still in the works right now. I posted that on Twitter. I think a week and a half ago. They were saying it was 30% done. So I think we'll see something about it next year.
All right, check this out, guys, real quick. In order to fill the title that I have there, just a real quick topic. Amazon has basically been confirmed that they are also looking into a streaming service. So I want to go down the line and just hear quickly what you guys think about that. I mean, it's just another company coming out there. You know, we've been watching Amazon. Amazon has been watching the gaming industry. The one interesting question I have with this, because Amazon, they do the Fire Stick, so they have the streaming service in terms of the movies and everything like that. So within me asking you, how do you feel about Amazon finally kind of like showing their cards about going into gaming and it's going to be a streaming service? I want to know what you guys think about them possibly doing a stream box, the way that Xbox is talking about the Cloud Scarlet box, the streaming box that has hardware in it to lower latency when it comes to game streaming. If you think that this is the way that Amazon is going to go also. So I want to start with Pred here on this. To me, I don't think it's a big surprise. So what do you think about Amazon finally, revealing some of their cards in terms of gaming and going into streaming? And what do you think about them possibly doing a stream box that would kind of get in there in terms of rivaling consoles and stuff like that? Because you saw, Xbox is quite possibly coming out with their own stream box, man.
I welcome anybody jumping into the industry, but I really want to see the games and latency first. That goes to anybody, whether it's Xbox, Sony, Amazon, whoever wants to jump into that game space. Like, show me that it works. Without shitty latency, and especially in their case, like, what games are you bringing to it? Because even though I know Phil's like, oh, we'll bring it to every device, but they really want that shit on their own shit, just like Sony wants their games on their own.
Yeah,
shit.
And they grabbed a couple developers, right? Like development teams, like a while back. So, I mean, they had to be working on something, right?
Yeah, I mean, and I think they are, but like, is it going to be like 3 halfway decent games, or is it going to be like some? Like, I got to see what their plan is for the future, like not just the launch, but like how's it going to go forward? Because like all of us are invested in our console. Like, I don't think we'll try it streaming, like whether it's on the Xbox, but I think most of us will try it on the Xbox. Like, I don't think a lot of us are going to be like, oh, I need to get, I need to try this through Amazon. I need to try this through Google. I need to try this through PS Now. I need to try this through fucking Nintendo. Like, I think we're kind of set that we really want to do it on our device with maybe an extra box upstairs in the bedroom or something like that. Whereas I don't see myself just jumping online to Amazon or Google or something like that and playing their games on a regular basis.
Mm-hmm.
When I can just go to my room. If I'm playing it on my PC, I'll play it on my PC. I'm not going to buy it for them. I buy a brand new streaming service. So like, we're already invested in what we're going to do it in. So they're going to have to pull console gamers to their service, which I think is going to be really hard to do.
Yeah, I see. At the end, I'm not sure. I think console gamers could be a part of the demographic they're looking for, and the reason why I ask this is because when it comes to the Fire Stick, there are TVs out there that already have kind of like the hardware for different services to kind of like stream movies and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, Amazon still sells Fire Sticks because it has the Amazon stuff on it,
okay? Destiny 3 comes out. Where are you buying it?
Xbox.
Xbox, right? So if you can't do cross progression, you got to buy a brand new game, got to buy a brand new streaming service for Amazon. Are you going to do that just so you can play Destiny while you're driving on a road trip?
I mean, good point, but I'm only one person out of like billions out there. You know what I'm saying?
But I'm asking you: are you gonna, pull up your laptop, use your 5G on your phone to stream the game through your cell phone to play Destiny 3 on a road trip on your laptop, and buy with a brand new subscription service?
Well, no, because I'm already invested in the Xbox service, and
exactly my point. You're already invested in Xbox, so like they gotta pull you as a consumer away from that.
Are they gonna offer me Amazon Prime as well?
I don't know about all that, but but they have to pull you away from your Xbox, make you start a brand new game all over again, buy a brand new streaming service, use your internet to play that game on your road trip. And I don't think a lot of people are going to gravitate to that. Now, it's different if they're like, hey, you can cross progression with your Xbox. That might be a game changer. But if that same streaming service is already available through Xbox, you'll just play through your Xbox through Windows or something like that.
That is, I mean, that's a great point. I don't know, Dark. What do you think about all this, man?
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, Amazon's coming out with a gaming streaming service.
I mean, cool. I'm kind of happy that they're finally showing some of their cards, so this way people are like, oh, they're not doing this and they're not doing that. This is where they're now you kind of see at least one of the directions they're going in, man.
I mean, it's cool, but it's like, our good buddy Don said in our DMs that, you know, a lot of them are trying it, but only a few will survive. And I think, in the long run, I think PlayStation and Xbox will be the ones to survive because they have a bigger player base. They know gaming better than Amazon and Verizon, stuff like that. So, I think it's cool, if they start doing it and they start bringing original content like they do with
All right, you
their Amazon Prime.
all right, you are
It might be
botting
kind
like
of cool
crazy
to see
right
what they
now.
come out
Okay, you're
with
back.
and come out with. I mean, I don't know, man. It's hard to say because of the fact that it's Amazon and I like their Prime service, but I think it's way too expensive for what you get, for a year. Um, especially since it's like $100 a year. I mean, I think that's a little steep. I mean, if they start adding games to it, then yeah, I mean, it might be a better price tag. But I think with, gaming streaming services like PlayStation Now and Game Pass, I think well, granted, yes, you know, Game Pass and PlayStation Now are more of a downloading type of services now. But I think they'll integrate that streaming service with Game Pass and stuff like that. And I just think that, you know, it's cool what they're doing, but I think in the long run, it's not going to benefit them.
Well, I think in the long run, I mean, if they are serious about this, I mean, they are one of the companies that, let's be honest, they basically just shit money. You know what I'm saying? So
No, they do.
if
Yeah.
they're really serious about this, they have the money to invest in it. They can, listen to feedback and adjust where they need to adjust on, throughout time. They'll have the money to back it up that they can screw up in the beginning and iron it out and still be okay. But I
But
don't.
that's the thing. It's the first impressions that count the most,
Yeah,
And if it doesn't come out the gate
nah,
with
see,
good stuff,
I disagree. I think
then
the money counts the most at the end of the day. Like you can have a bad first impression and make up for it. I
I
mean,
don't know, man. I don't know.
I
I
I,
don't know, man.
I don't know. It's interesting.
That's the Xbox One. That.
Yeah, I know, right? Well, but I mean, we kind of knew this was coming. Mega, we knew this was coming, man. What do you think about them finally showing their cards? What do you think about them possibly coming out with a stream box? Do you think that's a possibility?
Yes, and I remember when I was bringing up the point about that it would be smart for them to try to get into that space of where they can be in. Um, never mind. Scratch that. Let's scratch
Rewind.
that. Yeah, rewind. Anyway, no, yeah, it's a great thing. The real true factor of it is that Amazon is probably most likely the most scariest one out of all of them, because out of all the new competition that's coming, because Amazon undercuts the hell out of everybody. They don't, you know what I'm saying? They are really crafty when it comes to that. They're not afraid to spend a little extra money or lose a little extra money in order to gain later.
Mhm.
I do agree with what Pred said, is that it's going to be really difficult for a lot of people that's going to play on the Xbox, that's going to kind of just say, well, I like Amazon streaming better than the xCloud. Who this hurts is PlayStation, in my opinion.
Yeah,
It's
because they're a couple steps behind when you think about it, right?
they're more than a couple of steps behind, and
I try to be nice, man.
no, I mean they're more than that, and that's why it would make a lot of sense for them to have a partnership with Verizon in order to try to stop the bleeding.
Oh shit!
Because if they don't, then what you have is PlayStation trying to get themselves supplanted in a place where Xbox is already solidified. Amazon is right on right on their heels. Verizon is coming, and then whoever else, Madbox and whoever else that wants to join into the fray, just to take a little piece of the pie and just to see where it lands. It's I'm saying, this is the future. This is where it's at. I'm saying, I mean, the one cool thing is that Xbox has all the ducks in a row in the sense of where they have all the options to give you while PlayStation has the old way. And I know that there'll be a lot of gamers that will appreciate that. But when it comes and they start seeing that PlayStation is kind of forsaking them in a sense by putting their games on these other platforms and things like that, who's to say what the hell is going to happen? So I mean, it's going to be really impressive to see. But Amazon is definitely a big player in this, and even though Optimists don't like Prime has the most users than anybody. You know what I'm saying? They have.
I didn't say I didn't like Prime. I said I think it's too expensive.
$100 a year in the disc. It's going to if you use it a lot, you get great. It's a great service,
right?
You know what I'm saying?
I
plus the music,
I didn't use
movies.
It a lot. Expensive.
Well, they also have the music, Prime. I mean, you got the Prime Music, you got the movies, so it all kind of pays for itself.
You got the Audible.
Right. Yeah. So the books. Yeah, you got all of that. So it all is included. So I think it's a great package. And if they put in stuff in regards to gaming, and don't forget about their little thing that they got with Twitch. Like the sky's the limit for them. So they're the ones I think that are probably the most scary out of all these new companies coming in.
I got you.
Well, to Verizon, yeah. I mean, yeah, I don't think Verizon's gonna do well.
Look, I say let them all bring it on, bro. Let's see what Project Stream and Project X Cloud and Verizon and Amazon and Nike and Adidas, let them all throw out a streaming service. If they want, let them all throw it out and may the best man win. That's all. Show me. You got to show, because I'm still not sold on streaming. Like Pred said earlier, right? For us, especially hardcore gamers, console gamers, PC gamers, we're used to that. We download it, it's running the way it's supposed to. We don't want that latency. You're a fan of shooters or fighting games or sports games. You don't want that. You know what I'm saying? So we have to see just how functional these devices and these services are really going to be before we know which one is going to be worthwhile. But bring them all on.
Well, especially since California is very bad with its internet. I mean, it's supposed to be one of the best.
We hear it from you all the time.
I was just saying that's the thing.
I know. We have shitty ass internet, and that's the problem. I mean, with my gaming though, I mean, I don't have any problems. But like when I get on a podcast or I'm like doing something else, it lags. I get it. I mean, I don't think streaming right now is at its. I think it's at its beginning stages. I don't think it's where it needs to be yet.
I mean, at the end of the day, we kind of predicted that these companies were going to be getting into this. When you look at it, Amazon, when it comes to internet stuff, streaming and stuff like that, they're one of the top dogs. You look at Google and what they're doing with streaming in their browser. You look at Xbox and what they're talking about with plans for a stream box in the future, and what they're talking about with a streaming service, a 10 megabyte speed internet connection, and you can play AAA games. At the end of the day, I think out of all these companies,
yeah,
Sony,
but are you going to be able to play those games efficiently?
That's what they were talking about, pretty much. They're talking about like no lag and all that good stuff. But we got to see what's going on. All right, we got to see what's going on. At the end of the day, you're talking about Microsoft that deals with internet type solutions. In their corporation. You're looking at Amazon. You're looking at Google. Even Verizon is into the fiber optic streaming, all that good stuff, and it seems like the only company that when you look at them in a lineup looks like the one that's out of place with the black and white striped shirt and the freaking little black mask over the eyes is Sony right now. But we got to see what's going on. When these things start to really come to fruition. It's good to see that Amazon is finally showing some of their cards now, though, so we can finally stop letting people know, they're getting into the gaming space. And the funny thing is here with Sony hiring people, that specialize in game streaming and stuff like that. Sony is putting themselves into the competition of game streaming services as well. So whatever happens here, if Sony ends up losing out, a few years down the road, they put themselves in this bracket. You know what I'm saying? where you're dealing with these big companies that have a lot of like internet businesses going on. But guys, we are 10 minutes past 9 o'clock over here. We went a little bit longer, but not too much this time. It was a great show. Huge shout out to the chat. You guys were absolute fire tonight. I love seeing you guys like talk to each other. Everybody in there, Italian Clowns. We had Iron Lords, of course. We had the usual suspects and all the new people that came to check out the show. If you haven't done it yet, definitely hit that subscribe button. And if you haven't done it yet, definitely hit that thumbs up. But like a 40-year-old with a comb over, we got to get our plugs in. And I am going to start with the man who missed out on last week. Yo, Predator, it was great to have you back on the panel, man. Hearing your thoughts and your opinions on these topics, man, it just felt like a complete show again. So why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you and if you might be guest starring on any shows in the future, man?
I don't have any other podcasts coming up that I know of. I know Boom and Moose usually hit me up like last minute, so it's kind of it's like a spur of the moment type deal. But you can catch me Predator_H2S on Xbox, on PlayStation, on Steam. Also, make sure you guys vote for my gameplay because I'm the only one that.
I gotta check it out. The poll is up, by the way,
this week. So
dude,
vote for Pred.
You are running with that, aren't you?
Go Cowboys! Go Cowboys.
Touchdown Rams, right when you said that. Let's go.
That's okay. That's okay.
Let's go. Go for 2. Let's make it a touchdown.
Wow, I still don't have a vote right now for my gameplay at all.
You got 2 gameplays. That's trash.
Well, one of them is all gold out and everything like that. That was the winning gameplay. But man, I had to put that one character, 3 games. We had Sonic Mania, we had Sonic All-Star Racers Transformed, and we had Sonic Forces all together.
You shouldn't even be in the running because you won last week.
I don't want to hear that. I don't want to hear. I make up the rules. This was going. No, I'm just playing.
See?
But
rigged. Hashtag rigged.
Yeah, but like I said,
did Bud just get his big boy pants on?
Yeah, a little bit, halfway. But yeah, the poll is up on my Twitter channel. It is at xbot448. It is pinned right to the top, so you can just type in, search xbot448. If you're not following, it'll be right there for you to vote on. But on that note, let's go to my brother Knoxximus. Knox, dude, what do you think? We got to talk about Destiny tonight. There wasn't, hey, let's stop with the whole Destiny talk. Everybody was engaged. Everybody was talking about it. I thought we had a great show. What did you think, man? Good to talk about D2, man.
It was a great show, great topics. The chat was off the chain. It was phenomenal, man. Like always, bro. That's how we get it. That's how we give it up, bro.
Nice. Now, like I do talk about your YouTube channel. I absolutely love your content, man. It is not only funny, opinionated, but there's common sense in there. I love watching your videos. Is there any more coming on that channel? You gotta let people know what your channel is and where they can get a hold of you, man.
Yeah, man. To everybody that's been looking for the content, man, it's coming, bro. It's just it was the holidays, and then with this change at work, they switched my schedule up, so I'm caught up for a couple of weeks. So I really couldn't get anything out there because I was like, I'm between I got the worst schedule, man, from like 11 to 9 at night. From 11 a.m. to 9 at night kind of just screws everything up, bro. I'm working, going to sleep, to get up, to go back to work, to come home and go back to sleep. So it's crazy, but that's gonna change soon. It should be like maybe 1 more week or 2, man. So I'm gonna try to get something out there, but definitely right here on YouTube, in Knox We Trust, the content is coming, definitely. Right here on the next podcast on Saturdays, man. And yeah, B, and at D Knox on Twitter, holla at your boy.
Nice, brother. Yo, Mega, I stopped in last night on GRG just to make sure that you didn't make a huge mistake when building a PC, man. I just had to let you know. Yo, other people on the panel, they were going to let you roll, man. They were going to let you invest a whole bunch of money where you were going to have to invest a whole bunch more money afterwards. So, dude, I do look out for you. But why don't you let people know what is going on with your channel, the different shows you're on, and where they can get a hold of you, man?
Oh man, you know what I'm saying? It's the show lineup is decreased dramatically because it's only just GRG,
really
which
focused,
is Yeah, just GRG on Friday night after the Crossfire. You know what I'm saying? And hope you guys will check that out. It was a great show. Avers was on, So Shady was on, and plus the rest of the panel. It was really cool to have a Avers sighting. You know what I'm saying? Now we just got to find Moxie. Yeah, I know.
When I saw him in the DM, I was like, "You're alive!"
Yeah. Me and Avers talk every blue moon. You know, and then so I would hit him up, and then I was like, "Hey, man, why don't we just?" And so yeah, we chop it up, man. You know, I really appreciate what G4 Media does, man. G4G Media does. They do great things, but. Yeah, but you can catch me there and you can catch me here. These are the only two podcasts that I'm doing. I'm definitely going to be putting out some videos. I'm going to see if I'm going to try to do one tomorrow. Do at least one tomorrow and then one next week. And then just keep on working because I'm trying to get this PC right, man.
Dude, I saw the case and everything like that, man. But that is top secret. All right.
Yes, I will reveal it once I get done. But I do want to ask the panel here, you know what I'm saying, just like I did last night. All right, so okay, I'm not going to get the Radeon 7, the Radeon 7. So should I go ahead and get the 2060 RTX because I got my CPU is going to be the Ryzen
now the
2700X.
The 2060 is 350, right?
Right, yes, 350.
Would you be
You should
willing?
just throw out the PC.
Oh wow! No, if you're willing to down like in possibly the near future within within a year or so, like I told you, like I would go 10 series. Because 10 series is cheaper right now. Of course, you don't get all the ray tracing effects, but what's going to happen is eventually within a year's time, AMD is going to come out with their Navi architecture.
So just get a cheaper card and just roll with it until next year or whatever. That's better on my wallet. So yeah, I'll definitely do that. So you said the 10 series. You're gonna have the 10 series. What the hell is a 10 series? I don't know all of this trash.
I would say
1080.
Oh, well, the 1080.
Has the 1080 dropped that much in price from what it was?
I wouldn't go with the Ti, but I would
just go with the 1080.
Yeah, check out the prices on the 1080. And
all right,
we're in DM, so let me know.
I'm typing it in right now. So.
All right, bro.
But all right, man. Thanks everybody for checking us out, man. And sub to my channel, KMega45, and hit me up and follow me on Twitter at KMega4.
Yes. And just to let everybody know, every time you see the gameplay from a certain person, right now, you're seeing Knox. I do have a ticker down there, and it lets you know their YouTube channel. It lets you know, their Twitter page and everything like that. So you can check it out even while you're checking out the show, throughout the couple hours that we are on here talking gaming news and gaming topics. It's one of the added additions that makes the next podcast. To me, it's simply the best looking podcast out there. And I got to give a special thanks to another family member, Mr. Dark Optimus. I did not plan on having you on, man, but you came in and when it came to your opinions, especially
sounds so bad.
No,
I was not planning.
No, like you didn't even give me a heads up or anything. He was just like, "Yep, no, he came right into the hangout." And you and the Don.
I like to surprise you guys.
That's great. That's great. You definitely had some strong opinions on the whole Bungie Activision thing. I thought it was a really good twist on, it was definitely different than what a lot of people out there are saying in the community. You made a lot of sense. You did bring your California botting in here as usual, and I definitely appreciate that. But why don't you let people know where they can get a hold of you to talk games, man?
Yeah, you guys can find me at Dark Optimus on Twitter and Xbox. And yeah, man, it was fun doing the show tonight. Always, great show and great panel and a great chat. So yeah, man.
Man, I'm seeing these prices. This damn price 600, 700, 400.
Look at the 1060, man. All right.
Yeah, get a 1060 then. Expensive.
All right, and check it out, guys. It is Saturday. The Gamers Got a Game. Again, huge shout out to the chat. The support from the community is absolutely incredible. Guys, you come in every Saturday to check us out. It inspires us to make sure that this gaming podcast is the most entertaining the most informative podcast that we could possibly make. And we thank you guys for all the support. But, you know, gamers got a game, and we got to get the controllers in our hands. So as I say every Saturday, we will check you out next Saturday for the next podcast. Have a great weekend, everybody.
Peace.
Yeah.
Hey.